Hello everyone, welcome back to Rio Academy. Hello, hi, good evening students. Good evening. I hope everyone is good in preparing business studies. So yes, chapters and ಹಾಕಿದಿರಿ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ chapters ಕೂಡ I hope everyone has completed reading them and revising with all the questions. Good evening everyone. Yes, so let's start the class, let's begin. Okay, so today we are going to start with our business environment chapter, which is of, you can see business environment chapter, which is your third chapter, and out of this chapter you are going to expect 9 marks in your exams. So total ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇಂತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 9 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇಂತ್ರ, and 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 2 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ, and 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 1 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, and it is also a small chapter. So ಸಣ್ಣ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ and there are only some questions, few questions ಇದಾವೆ. ಆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು in your exams. Okay, yes, you can see here that from your business environment chapter, we have already completed with nature and significance of management, we have already completed with planning which contains 8 marks, and we have completed with organizing which was 12 marks, and we have completed with staffing which was 16 marks. So nodri 12 marks, 8, 12, 16, so ishtu marks na ನಾವು already complete ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. So we are going to take up with our business environment chapter, which is going to be with 9 marks. Total marks ಎಷ್ಟು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ 9 marks ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Yes, so total ನಿಮಗೆ 9 marks ಇರುತ್ತೆ, and then after with your 9 marks, so 2 marks questions ನಿಮಗೆ 4 marks questions ನಿಮಗೆ 2 questions ಬರ್ತಾವೆ, and then 1 marks question is going to come, that is 1 question ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so now let's begin with multiple choice questions. So business environment ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? So what do you mean by business environment? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of business environment? Business environment ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Yes, so what do you mean by business environment? Business environment andre enu antandre, it is nothing but it is the sum total of all the individuals, institutions and other forces which are outside the control of the business enterprise, but they may affect the performance. So business environment ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? What do you mean by business environment? So business environment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ it is going to include ಎಲ್ಲ individuals ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಅದೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವಂದ್ರೆ these all the individuals, institutions and other forces are outside the what? ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಗೆ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ which are what outside the control of enterprise. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ಏನ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. I hope the meaning is clear now. Okay, let's get started with multiple choice questions. Okay, so now MCQ questions na start madona ivaga. So let's get started with your multiple choice questions. Please be ready and start answering the questions here. So questions na please answer ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ try ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. So you can see here, which of the following it is not a characteristic of business environment. So business environment iddu characteristics which is not a characteristic of business environment. So business environment characteristic yavdu alla. So which is that? Uncertainty, option B, relativity, option C, employees, option D, complexity. Which is not the characteristic of business environment. Business environment the characteristics yavdu? Which is not, which is yavdu alla. Which is that? Uncertainty, relativity, employees, complexity. Please try to answer this. Yes, I'm waiting for the answers. Which is not a characteristic? Please note the word here, not a characteristics anta heli kelidare. It is not a characteristic, which is not a characteristic of business environment. Okay, so let's see the answer now. So employees, yes, employees is not a characteristic of business environment. Namdu business environment enide, it is largely uncertain anta heli karitivi. Okay, and it is relativity and complexity. It is also complex, it is relative. So business environment is what? Business environment is uncertain, relativity and complexity involved irutte. But your employees is not a characteristic of business environment. So option number C is the correct answer. Sakshi, correct. Sakshi has answered it correctly. Now let's move with the next question now. Which of the following is again not best indicates the importance of business environment? So just remind yourself, business environment the importance yavdu, which are the importance of business environment. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, which is not a importance of business environment ಅಂತ question ಇದೆ. Identification of opportunities, option number B, improvement in performance, option number C, coping with rapid changes, and D is relativity, which is not the importance of business environment. Please try to answer this. I'm waiting for the answers. Please try to answer this question. Which is not the importance of business environment. Okay, let's check with the answer. So that is relativity. Relativity is not the importance of business environment. So relativity enide, relativity was the feature of business environment. So identification of opportunities agirbodu, improvement of performance agirbodu, coping with rapid changes, these all are the importance of business environment, and your relativity is not the importance of business environment, it is a feature or a characteristic of business environment. So option number D is your correct answer. So I hope it clear agide question. Yes, let's move with the next question. Liberalization means, so liberalization andrenu, there are three concepts: liberalization, privatization and globalization anta heli LPG bandittu. So adanalli liberalization andrenu, what is liberalization? Option A, integration among economics. Option B, reduced government controls and restrictions. C, policy of planned disinvestments. Option D is A, B and C is the correct answer. So which is the correct answer now? Please try to answer this. Yes, most of the students have answered it as option number D. So let's check the answer. So that is option number B is the correct answer. Integration among economics, it is not. Liberalization is not an integration among economics, or it is not a policy of planned disinvestments alla. So what is liberalization? Liberalization anta helidre ಏನಾದರೂ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, ಯಾವ್ದು ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, that is called as what? Liberalization. Please correct your answer. That is option number B is your correct answer. That is reduced government controls, restrictions and ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, government controls and restrictions. That is the correct answer. Option number B is your correct answer, not D. Okay, liberalization ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, that is called as liberalization, in order to liberalize the government. Okay. Yes, so let's move on with the next question. Which of the following is not the feature of demonetization? Demonetization, which is not a feature of demonetization. Option A, tax administration measure. Channelizing savings. Option B, channelizing savings into the formal financial system. C, development of less cash economy. D is coping with rapid changes. It is not the feature of demonetization. Please try to answer this. Which is the answer? D. Most of the students are answering it as D. Which is not a feature of demonetization. Demonetization is the feature which is not a feature of that. Tax administration measure. Demonetization is a tax administration measure. Yes, it is a tax administration measure anta heli karitivi. And channelizing savings into formal financial system, development of less cash economy. The answer is option D is your correct answer. That is what? Coping with rapid changes. Yes, so coping with rapid changes ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, that is what? It is not a feature of demonetization. So demonetization of the feature ಅಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದು? Coping with rapid changes. Okay, Sakshi has answered it correctly. Very good, Sakshi. Yes, now let's move on with the fifth question. Again, you can see ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Yes, which of the following is a part of which? Economic environment. Please tell me the answer. Economic environment iddu, which is a part of economic environment. Option A, public debt. Option B, lifestyle of the people. Option C, technological changes. Option D is level of education. Which is the part of economic environment. Economic environment ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು include ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Yes, which of the following is a part of economic environment? Yes. So your lifestyle of the people is nothing but it is your social environment. Technological changes is again your technological environment, and your level excuse me. Yes. So your level of education is also your what? Social environment, and your economic environment ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ your public debt is what? Option number A is the correct answer. That is most of the students have answered it correctly. That is public debt ಏನಿದೆ that is your economic environment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. It is your economic environment. Yes. Let's move with the next question. Please try to answer this, students. Which of the following is an example for, you can see here, social environment? Example for social environment. Option A, money supply in the economy. Option B, Consumer Protection Act. C, the constitution of the country. D is composition of family. Which is the correct answer? Yes, let's check the answer. Yes, option D is the correct answer. Most of the students have answered it correctly. That is composition of the family. Money supply in the economy, ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದು environment ಅಂದ್ರೆ economic environment. Consumer Protection Act, your constitution of the country, these are also your, Consumer Protection Act is legal environment. Yes, so constitution of the country is also legal environment. In composition of the family ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, that is nothing but your which environment? Social environment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So 1 marks question ಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Yes, let's move with the next question. Business environment is group of dash powers. Specific powers, general powers, internal powers, or option D is specific and general powers. So the first characteristic of ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, the second characteristic of business environment ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So please try to answer this. Business environment is a group of dash powers. Which powers? Yes, let's check the answer. Specific powers alla, general powers, specific powers and special powers anke alla, right? General powers include agutte, internal powers alla, but this is what? Specific and general is your correct answer. You can see option number D is your correct answer. So business environment is a group of dash powers. You are going to include specific powers also and general powers also. So specific and general idenagutte andre, this is your correct answer. Very good. Yes. So let's move with the next question now. Which of the following is an example for Economic environment, again there is economic environment. Option A, level of income. Option B, customs and traditions. Option C, technology used in production. Option D, social values. Which is the example for your economic environment? Economic environment is ಯಾವುದು? Yes, let's check with the answer. So your customs and traditions is your social environment. Your technology which is used in the production, that is your technological environment. Social values is again your social environment. Option number A, which is level of income. Level of income is nothing but it is an example for your economic environment. Economic environment is example ಯಾವುದು? Level of income. Level of income. Yes, let's move with the next question now. Which elements of business environment refers to the belief, value and customs of people? Which is that business environment? Elements of business environment, dimensions of business environment nalli yavudidave? Legal, social, political, technological, yes, and economical. So these all are the different dimensions of business environment. Additionally, which is including belief, value and custom of the people. Which is that? Is it your political environment? B, legal. Option C is social environment. Option D is technological environment. Which is the right answer? Which is including belief, values and customs of the people. Please try to answer this. Yes, let's check with the answer. So when you're talking about beliefs, values and the customs of the people, that is answer is option C, which is your social environment. Yes, most of the students have answered this correctly. That is option number C, which is a social environment nalli enen include agutte andre the beliefs agirbodu, values agirbodu and even the customs of the people is included in your which business environment, which is that your social environment. Option number C is your correct answer. Yes, now let's move with the next question. Question number 10. Total there are 16 questions, multiple choice questions. Additionally, we are with the 10th question now. So change in the consumer preferences directly affects the dash of the business. So when your consumer preferences change, so consumers preferences change agidaga, it is going to affect dash of the business. It is going to affect option A, technology, option B, working capital, option C, demand and supply, option D is legal framework. It is going to affect what? Which is the correct answer? Yes, it is going to affect your demand and supply. So when your consumer preferences changes, so consumer preferences change agidaga, aವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it is going to affect your demand and supply. So basically economic environment ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು, in the consumer preferences change ಆದಾಗ demand and supply ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is going to affect your demand and supply. So option number, yes, Sakshi, correct, demand and supply. So option number C, which is demand and supply is your correct answer. Now let's move with the next question. Change of government policies is an example of dash environment. So government policies change adre, which example is, which environment example is it? Is it option A economic, option B political, option C social, and option D? Yes, I'm sorry. So it is change in the government policies is an example for dash environment. Option A economic, option B political, option C is your social, and D is technological. So you can see here when your government policies change, government policies change ಆದರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು environment example ಇದು? This is example for your political environment. Yes, it's an example for your political environment. Yes, now let's move with the next question. Yes, so now see, between June 2023 and June 2024, a report says the exports of India have increased by 2.47%, while imports of India has increased by 5.04%. Identify the related dimension of business environment. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ June 2024 and June 2023 ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದು imports ಇಷ್ಟು ಏನಾಗಿದಾವೆ increase ಆಗಿದೆ. That is how much? Your 22.47%, and your exports have increased by 2.47%, and your import has increased by 5.04%, which is that you have to write, identify the related dimension of business environment. Which dimension of business environment is going to come here? Option A social dimension, option B technological dimension, option C legal dimension, option D economic dimension. Which is the correct answer? Yes, students, they might ask this kind of questions in your exams. So, type questions, dimensions of business environment ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ questions ಬರ್ತವೆ. So, please read that all the 5 dimensions properly. So, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೇನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ, please learn it properly. C, option C. Sakshi is answering that it is option C. Yes, let's see the answer now. It is your economic dimension. No, it is not your legal dimension ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ಲ. So what ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ June 2023 to June 2024 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, they are going to tell you ಇಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So it is what? It is nothing but your economic dimension, which is going to talk here about what? About the export imports is going to talk in economics ನಲ್ಲಿ. So economic environment is your correct answer. Option number D is your correct answer. Please try to correct this. So it is option D is your correct answer. Yes, now identify, again this is also one of the important question. So you know, really identify the related dimension, which is that related dimension of business environment which lead to the mandatory usage. See here, mandatory usage of masks and PPE kits during COVID-19. So which is that they are making some mandatory rules or mandatory usages that you have to use masks and ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, you can see a PPE kits, you have to use it during the COVID-19. Which environment is that? Option A economic environment dimension, option B legal dimension, option C technological dimension, option D is your political dimension. Which is the correct answer? Yes, let's check with the answer. That is your option number B, correct. Most of the students have answered it. Yasir Abdul, yes, correct. Yes. So the option number B, which is a legal dimension. So now in madidvi they have made some rule. Yes. So law in madittu, law has passed. That is the government has passed some law that mandatory usage ಮಾಡಬೇಕು masks ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ and PPE kits ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. So it is nothing but it is passed by the law. So it is a legal dimension ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So option number B is your legal dimension. It is not a political dimension. Please note, it is option B, which is legal dimension. Confuse ಆಗಬಹುದು ನಿಮಗೆ in legal or in political, but the answer is legal dimension because it is law which is passed by the government. So law ಇದೆ ಇದು. So this is your called as legal dimension. Yes, let's move with the next question now. Yes, so the government of India has allowed foreign direct investment in. Yes, so the government of India has allowed foreign direct investment in insurance sector. Insurance sector nalli government of India ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it has allowed what? Foreign for direct investment. So what economic reform is the reason of this changes in government policy? So ಯಾವುದು? It is globalization. Option A, B, liberalization. Option C, privatization. Option D is demonetization. Which is that? Which is government of India has allowed foreign direct investment and allow ಮಾಡ್ತು insurance sector ಗೆ. So which is that? For economic reform policy. Please, can anyone answer this? Let's check with the answer. So that is liberalization. It is not globalization. It is or not even the privatization. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ? Foreign direct investments ಅನ್ನ allow ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Yes, in your insurance sector, we have removed all the restrictions which were there on the policies ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, restrictions ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು remove ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. We have liberalized it by giving the opportunities for the insurance sector. ಏನ್ allow ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ foreign direct investment ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. So this is an example for which liberalization. So liberalization ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? This is an example for liberalization. Option number B is your correct answer. No, C is not your correct answer. A no alla, D no alla. That is your liberalization. Option number B is your correct answer. Yes. Now let's move with the next question. Rapid increase in mobile phones usage is a part of dash environment. So ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is a rapid increase in mobile phones usage is an example for dash environment. It is the easiest question. Please try to answer it. Option A, political environment. Option B, technological environment. Option C is your social environment, and option D is your legal environment. Which is the correct answer? Phone usages ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is rapid increase in phone usages is a part of which environment? Yes, good students. Yes, so it is technological environment. Yes, most of the students have answered it correctly. That is what answer is, technological environment. So ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತು? Rapid changes ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು? There is increase in mobile. Yes, mobile phones increase ಆದ್ವು and this is your what? Technological changes ಆಗಿದೆ. So it is called as your technological environment or technological dimension ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So option D is your correct answer. Now let's move with the last question. Goods and service tax relates to dash environment. It relates to which environment? Goods and service tax. Option A, political. Option B, legal. Option C, social. And option D is technological. You can eliminate the options here. Please try to answer this. Goods and service tax. Technological inki alla. Yes, it is not even technological. Social kuda alla. You have to decide with your political and you have to decide with legal. Yes, let's check with the answer. That is your legal environment, correct. So legal environment, goods and service tax ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, it is nothing but your legal environment. There is a law about goods and service tax, it is related to legal environment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So your answer is legal dimension of business environment. Yes, so we have already completed with your choose the correct answer. Now we are going to discuss with fill in the blanks questions. So fill in the blanks questions ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ match the following and discuss ಮಾಡೋಣ, and even 1 marks questions, and after that we are going to move with your 4 marks questions. Yes, now let's start discussing with fill in the blanks question. Please try to answer this. Yes, so options idave ಇಲ್ಲಿ technological, legal, social, economic, privatization, tax, uncertain, scientific, political and dynamic. These are the options here. So please try to answer the first one. Business environment is dash in nature. Business environment is dash in nature. Business environment is dash in nature. Business environment is, yes, most of the students have answered it correctly. Business environment is ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, dynamic in what? Dynamic in nature. Business environment is what? Dynamic in nature anta heli kariತೀವಿ. The second question, government policy or attitude relevant to business are included in dash of business. Government policy and attitude relevant to business are included in dash of business. Second one, yes, correct. Abdul and Sakshi, correct. It is political of the business. So your political of the business. So government policy ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, attitude which is relevant to the what? Business. Relevant to the business, government policies, these are always included in political dimension ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So political of the business. Yes, now let's move with the third question. Technological environment includes forces relating to dash improvement and innovations. Technological environment includes what? Includes forces relating to dash improvements and innovations. You can see the options here. Yes, let's see. I'll show the question. Yes, the answer is what? Scientific. Yes, so scientific improvements and innovation. So technological environment includes forces which is related to what? Relating to scientific improvements and innovations. It is very, fourth one, it is very difficult to predict the future happening because business environment is largely dash. It is one of the feature. Business environment is largely dash. I'll show the options. Business environment is largely ಏನು, which is the correct answer? Correct. The answer is largely, business environment is largely uncertain. So uncertain meaning andre ಏನು? What do you mean by uncertain? Uncertain ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ we cannot predict about the future happening. So future ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದನ್ನ ನಾವು predict ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. That is called as uncertainty. So ನಮ್ದು business environment ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is largely uncertain because you cannot predict about the future. Future ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವಂತ changes ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು easily predict ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So it is largely what? Uncertain. Yes, I hope it is clear. Yes, now let's move on with the fifth question. It is very difficult to predict the future happenings because business environment is largely dash. Difficult to predict, yes, again the same question, it is again uncertain. Predict the future happenings because yes, it is this both questions are same. It is very difficult to predict the future happenings because business environment is largely what? Uncertain. Yes. Yes, it is same answer. Now let's move on with the next question. An increase in population growth affects the dash environment. So population growth nalli increase ಆದರೆ which is which environment affect ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? You can see here the options. Increase in population growth. Population growth increase ಆದರೆ it is going to affect your which environment? Yes, it is going to affect our social environment. So social environment and affect ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ದು population growth ಏನಾದರೂ increase ಆದರೆ it is going to affect our social environment. Now let's move with the seventh question. Dash environment influences, again see here, demand and supply of the products. Demand and supply of the products ಯಾವ್ದು environment? You can see here the options. It is going to affect your which environment? Yes, the answer is correct. It is going to affect your economic environment. It is going to affect your economic environment. Consumer Protection Act is related to which environment? Consumer Protection Act is related to which environment? Yes, very good. It is your legal environment. So it is your what? Legal environment. Rapid increase in the use of mobile banking is an example for dash environment. So ಈಗ just choose the correct answer ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ MCQ ನಲ್ಲಿ there is a rapid increase in the mobile banking, that is mobile phones ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ rapid increase ಆದರೆ it is an example for your correct. Sakshi correct, it is your technological environment. Yes. So we have completed with your fill in the blanks questions and your MCQ questions. Now let's start up with your match the following questions. So match the following nalli you can see totality of external forces. Totality of external forces. Please can anyone answer this? Totality of external forces. Totality of external forces is nothing but your characteristic of business environment. So business environment is one characteristic that is totality of external forces anta heli kariತೀವಿ. It is what? It is the characteristic of business environment. Capital disinvestment. Capital disinvestment is what? Capital disinvestment. Capital disinvestment. Capital disinvestment is a sale of shares from public sector to private individuals. That is called as capital disinvestment. So capital disinvestment andre ಏನು? What do you mean by this disinvestment term? So ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಸೊ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as disinvestment. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ disinvestment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ you can say that it is the sale of shares from public sector to private sector. Legislations are what? Legislations are nothing but your legal environment. So legislations are your legal environment. Yes. So demonetization. It has come in your model question paper also. Demonetization andrenu? Demonetization. Demonetization. Demonetization has started in the year November 8th 2016. So 2016 alli start madidvi. So yes, it is correct. Demonetization is option. This is 5. Okay. So rate of savings. Rate of savings. Rate of savings is what? Rate of savings is nothing but your economic environment. Yes. Rate of savings is your economic environment. Yes, it is a correct answer. It is your economic environment. Composition of the family is your which environment? Your social environment. Yes. It is your social environment. Which is it? F. So you can see F here. Composition of a family is your social environment. Composition of a family is your social environment. Then political ideology is which? Political ideology. Political ideology. Political ideology is your political environment. Yes. So political ideology is your political environment. FDI. FDI is nothing but here you can see it is foreign direct investment. So FDI is called as foreign direct investment. Volume of import and export. Volume of import and export. Volume of import and export. It is, yes, it is a component of economic environment. Volume of import and export we have discussed now in MCQ questions also. Yes. Composition habits. Composition habits. Composition habits. Composition habits your technological environment. And lastly, your life expectancy is your social environment. Social environment. I think we have missed something. Life expectancy. A is third, B is fourth, F L is the 10th one. It is element of, sorry, this is your element of social environment. Your element of social environment. F. Composition of your family. Yes, composition of family is your social environment. So they have given it for same social environment, social environment. So your composition of family is your social environment. Yes. Yes. Now let's move on with your. Yes. So we have already completed with your match the following also. Now let's get started with 1 marks questions now. Yes, let's start discussing with 1 marks question. So what is the meaning of business environment? I told you business environment is what? It is the sum total of all the individuals, institutions and other forces which are outside the control of business enterprise. So business enterprise ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಲ್ ದ ಯೋರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಅದರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, and they are going to what, but they are affecting its performance, affecting the performance of our business enterprise. That is called as what? Business environment. That is called as business environment. Now the next question is, what is liberalization? So liberalization andrenu, it means loosening of government regulations. So government liberalization andre, in order to liberalize the government by what? Reducing all your government regulations. So government regulations na kammi maduvanthaddu in our country to allow for private sector companies to operate in the business with a fewer restrictions. So private sector nalli kuda, okay, so after your in the year 19 liberalization ಬಂದಾಗ 1991 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕೇಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so in that case they have to India, in order to develop our Indian economy, so ಆ ಕೇಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ LPG ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರು. that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. So what is this liberalization ಅಂದ್ರೆ, there were so many restrictions which were put on your private sectors. So private sector ಏನಂದ್ರು business ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ there were so many restrictions ಅನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ. So ಆ restrictions ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿ and you're allowing them to what? Allowing them to take part in the economy. So take part in the economy, that is called as ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? liberalization. So liberalization ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ government regulations ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ regulations ಅನ್ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, and then you are allowing for private sector companies. So ನಿಮ್ದು private sector companies ಗೆ ನೀವು allow ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ for what? For to operate the business ಗೆ operate ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ with fewer restrictions. So fewer restrictions ಅಂತ, that is called as what? Your liberalization. They might ask this for 1 marks. Yes. The next is, what is the meaning of globalization? So globalization andrenu, globalization refers to integration of the economy of the country with the world economy to facilitate free flow of information, ideas, technology, goods and services, capital and even people. That is called as what? That is called as globalization. So globalization anta helidre enu, namdu India the economy agirbodu, yavudu namdu country economy agide, aa country economy na ಏನು ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, that you are going to integrate it to the world economy. So namdu ಪೂರಕ ಪರ with other different countries, outside countries, foreign countries ಜೊತೆ integration ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು. And you are going to facilitate for what? Facilitate free flow of information. Free flow of information ಅನ್ನ facilitate ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, okay, ideas ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು and even technology ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, goods and services ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, capital ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, and even the people, in order to facilitate for the growth you are going to do is, that is called as ಎಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? globalization ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Yes, they might ask this for 1 marks also. Yes, what do you mean by privatization? So privatization andrenu, what is privatization? They might ask this: globalization, privatization and Yes, so they might ask for what is globalization, privatization and your liberalization. So privatization anta helidre giving greater role to the private sector, thereby reducing the role of public sector. So private sector role anna ಜಾಸ್ತಿ increase ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, you are going to give the greater role to the private sector and you are going to reduce the role of public sector. So public sector role anna ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು and private sector role anna increase ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, that is called as what? Privatization. It means de-reservation of industries previously reserved for public sector. So ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಎಕನಾಮಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗತ್ತಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕೇಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು reduce it and now improvement ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, we have started with your privatization and in that industries ಅನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you are going to de-reserve the industries which were previously reserved for public sector. So public sector ಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, you are going to reserve them, that is called as what? Your privatization. That is called as your privatization. Yes, I'll complete the class. Yes, so you can see still we have only 4 questions, that is only expand questions idave. What is BIFR antandre Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. Board of what? Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction, that is called as BIFR. Okay, they might ask this for 1 marks. Expand kodbodu. FIPB is what? Nothing but Foreign Investment Promotion Board. Foreign Investment Promotion Board, that is FIPB. Yes, so the next question is LPG. They might ask what is expand LPG. LPG means L for liberalization, P for privatization and G for your globalization. Yes, so the next question is FDI. FDI is what? Foreign direct investment. So foreign direct investment is called as FDI. Yes, yes. So in our today's class, we have completed with MCQ questions, we have completed with fill in the blanks questions, match the following and 1 marks questions. So now ishtu complete ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. In your tomorrow's class, I am going to complete with your 4 marks questions and then we are going to end our business environment chapter. So total 9 marks ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಕಲಿತೀರಾ. So now please whatever I have taught you, please try to read it, revise ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ try ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. So and please watch the videos and I hope this 45 days challenge is properly, it is helpful for every students ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. So please try to like this, share this with your friends and even subscribe the Review Academy channel also. So please like this and I hope and please like to share this. ಎಷ್ಟು share ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ please ನಿಮ್ಮ friends ಜೊತೆನೂ share ಮಾಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ. So this is very helpful and it is YouTube nalli we have taken the classes. So whatever I am teaching, these are basically the fixed marks questions antanu helbodu business studies nalli. Please attend the classes. So classes anna attend ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ try ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to do with your business environment 4 marks question. Please don't miss the tomorrow's class. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Okay, I'll end today's class. Thank you everyone.